you ready?
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Weeaboo Club Weekly 43. I don't know. Let me look up 43 number. It's the number. Well, I don't know what the fuck that is. The 14th smallest prime number. There we go. I give a What is 43? There's an anime called 43.
No, wait.
Why? Well, then why did I look up 43 to get 43 anime? I don't care. Whatever. Comments. Oh, wait, no. Before that, we have a guest on this episode. We mentioned it last week. Natty is here.
What's good? I don't know if I can cuss shit. Because isn't there like a YouTube thing? Can I cuss shit?
The intro
I mean,
goes,
just don't say the N-word.
Yeah, the
okay.
intro
I'll
goes like enough time where the intro's done, and I could probably say fuck right away, and we'd be fine. Because I think the intro's like over 30 seconds long.
Yeah. It's
all right.
As long as it's not in the 30-second mark, it's fine.
Yeah, so we could literally start an episode with me saying like "comes dripping out of my asshole," and like nobody cares because the intro was long enough that advertisers are okay with supporting that. Apparently.
All right, your audience okay with you spitting facts? Okay. Hey, what's going on, Natty here?
And then Nun's here, thankfully.
Unfortunately.
No.
Now Vindy's outnumbered.
I think okay. I do want to start with something because I think people knew it was a joke, but some of the comments had me worried that people didn't know it was a joke.
Yeah, there's at least two people who, even after I've clarified, think Craftsdwarf actually quit.
Yeah, like it looks like people like some of y'all are either like really good at sarcasm or actually think Craftsdwarf quit YouTube. So I think I that we should say here so people don't think we announced it. Craftsdwarf did not quit YouTube. He is moving and does not have access to internet. So we're doing the Weeb Club without him for a little bit. He did not quit YouTube.
But y'all had me going there for a minute. I thought he quit.
No, well, there was even a moment where I thought it was so obvious it was a joke because I was about to like go outside of the joke, right? And not carry on the joke. And then I paused and then kept the joke going. And like, I thought that should have made it so obvious to people that it was just a joke and Craftsdwarf didn't quit. But people were still commenting like, what was one of them? Positiver says, sad to see Craft leave YouTube. I wish him well in anything he will pursue. Which, like, then you have Equinox where I know that this is a joke. Because he says, sad that Crafts won't be allowed to record in the retirement home. This guy gets it.
Yeah, I hearted that one.
It's wild. Oh, shit. I know.
Because, like, I think with the quitting thing, too, I also tried to make it obvious. Like, even after the first time I said it, I figured people shouldn't think that's real. But then after later on when we talked about Pokemon for a little bit and I was like, oh yeah, Craftsdwarf fucking actually quit so I could actually just play the games. The way I said that, I think it was like very obvious that I was not being legitimate.
Right.
But I know Positiver and that other guy think it was legit, so very sad. I also like messed with the Craftsdwarf server members and made them all think that Craftsdwarf actually quit.
You're a gaslighter.
No, it's not my fault. I wasn't gonna say anything originally, but then someone like said that it was a joke before they could have had the time to watch the episode. So I was like, no, I'm gonna double down and be like, he actually quit, and
You're
make them
such
like,
a troll.
think that.
You're fucking.
I'm not letting people ruin my clickbait. I'm making them watch the episode.
Imagine though, actually, like, imagine thinking that really quickly. I just thought of this. Like, imagine being a fan, okay, and you listen to that episode and you think, "Oh my God, Craftsdwarf quit YouTube," And then you're sitting there and you compare the difference between when the way we talked about when he left and quit YouTube, where we had an entire episode dedicated to him and we all talked about him and how much he means to us and stuff like that. And Craftsdwarf quits and we're just like, yeah, Craftsdwarf's gone. Let's talk about how Nintendo kind of fucking blow cock. Like,
yeah, and he's not even at least in the thumbnail. No, he's not in there. Like,
I don't know, that like 30-second moment where y'all were talking about him leaving, I was kind of, it kind of hit.
That being said,
a lot.
It would have been fucking hysterical if we had thought about it and actually made the bit the entire time. We made the topic Craftsdwarf quitting YouTube and like had actually done an entire episode about Craftsdwarf just to then at the end be like, yeah, he actually didn't quit. He's just moving. That would be funny, but we didn't do that because we're not that funny enough. We're not that okay. That doesn't make sense.
You wasn't your brain.
All right. Does anyone else have any comments? Because I have a couple comments, but
I mean, I have Dot's comment where he just says how there's time codes with spoilers. Yeah, I put time codes and spoilers, so you can see that I spoil Elfin Lied and that Vindy doesn't spoil the Batman movie and all that. I just thought it was like the best way to tag that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'll talk about the cross comment because I want to start off by saying he says I'm about to risk my comment getting EWB'd, right? And I actually don't think his comment. I don't think his comment is bad enough that it should be EWB'd. It's not that one time where we had the two EWBable comments. What was it, the Sushi and the Titania comments, where they were just so bad that we had to talk about both of them. I don't think your comment's actually that bad, and I think you make some like valid points, but in some ways I want to explain, I guess, my perspective more because I think that like I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think things are fully understood. Which you said about the saying that some of your okay. Oh, wait, you said if this was spurned because of that Soul Hackers 2 game, that issue's way more on Atlas than Nintendo, and you go on to talk about Soul Hackers 2 and things about Persona. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know what Soul Hackers 2 is.
It was like a trailer, like...
yeah, I know what it is, but I wasn't thinking of it when I was talking about it.
I literally don't know what this is. So you're going on about how if this is because of this and giving context about that, you could be completely right, dog. Like, I'm not going to argue with you about that. I don't know. But that isn't what spurned what we were talking about, right? I just brought up the limited releases because as we were talking in my brain, I was thinking about, like, what are things that I think, right? Because, like, when you're on an episode, right, and you have a topic, at least for me, what goes on in my brain is as we're talking, I'm thinking, okay, what is another thing that people have made a lot of conversation about around this topic that we can then talk about, that even if it's not the most relevant thing, it is still something that we can have like an interesting conversation about. And that's why I brought up the limited releases, because I was solely talking about the Mario and Fire Emblem ones, not anything else. So I'm not going to argue with you about Soul Hackers 2. And then to talk about the Earthbound point, because you mentioned that, my thing with that is I think, I guess maybe I didn't explain my point well enough. I think it's great that Earthbound is getting released on more things. Like, I legitimately think that's a good thing. My point was that, like, when they add a bunch of no other game that Nintendo release on something like Switch on, or like you know, when something gets added to Switch Online, nothing else gets as much like fanfare as Earthbound does. Would you could say, okay, well, Earthbound's been kind of ignored by Nintendo, but in recent years, has it? It was on the Wii U, it was on the SNES Classic, it's on the Switch now, right? Like, yes, Earthbound is still a cult classic game, and Nintendo don't do anything with the franchise, but it's not like it's anything new for Earthbound to come out on the modern Switch console like it was with the Wii U, where it was a big deal, and, like, yeah, people should celebrate that. But when it's on the Wii U and they put it on the SNES Classic, they know, and they've made jokes about it at E3, Nintendo know people want Earthbound. That's why they're making the fanfare of it. Earthbound was going to come to Switch Online anyways, but why is this single game getting more fanfare? It's because Nintendo know people want something, and they're not going to actually put in the work to do the one thing that people actually deserve something, which is just fucking put Mother 3 out or do something more with the franchise other than just re-release this one game. Yes, it's good that the game's getting re-released. I agree with that. But it's nothing new for Earthbound to come out on something you can play through a fucking HDMI port, right? Like, it was on the Wii U. It's on the SNES Classic. So it isn't a big deal that Earthbound's coming out. It's expected. Cool. So I think just like that point was misunderstood. And then I responded about the difference between Cyberpunk and something like the modern Nintendo games, which to go over it on the episode, essentially what I was saying was that like, the games are very different ways people talk about them, right? People aren't going to talk about, they didn't talk about Animal Crossing. They're not going to talk about, the Nintendo Switch Sports the same way they talked about Cyberpunk. Right, even though I would say that the difference is because both games were incomplete on launch. I mean, that's just like true. I think the difference is something like Cyberpunk. I don't think was missing content. Right, it was lacking polish that got added, but the game on launch, through the bugs which were a problem and through sometimes crashes or performance issues, was a full game there that I got like a very complete and good experience out of. I would say overall minus the bugs. And I want to go back to that game without the bugs and see what I think of it then. The difference is, even if the game is very polished in Nintendo's case, right, with like even like Mario Kart sometimes and like all these games they release, yes, the experience is polished, but it's not complete. It's missing a lot of content. And I think that that's very different, probably in the philosophies of how they release their games. But I kind of prefer to just have a game that is lacking polish, because that's something that I can almost guarantee, like in modern game development, right? You can almost guarantee that lacking polish, as long as the game is decently big, is going to be fixed over time. Whereas lacking content, if they don't make the money, they're just going to cut and run. And Nintendo's done that before.
You have no idea what they're going to, you don't know if they're going to add more to make you like it or not. Like, you have no idea what to expect. Whereas, yeah, as you said, you expect something to be polished and finished, to have the most of the really bad bugs out of the game.
Like especially when CD Projekt Red are a big studio and Cyberpunk sold well, right? They're not going under and they're not going to abandon the game, right? So, and I mean they put out like it's so funny to bring up Cyberpunk because they put out a massive update a couple weeks ago, right? That made the game run better on everything. They fixed a lot of common complaints people had. There was free content, new weapons, just new side quests added, new like interactions with characters added. They added all this stuff and fixed a lot of the polish around the game, even in terms of gameplay systems that people had issues with, all for free. And that's like, I actually think that that's expected of just like, modern and you could like bring up like, well, when you talk about like Mario, there's something like Anthem, but again, Anthem was a situation where it was lacking content and they were making content, but then they just like cut and run, you know what I mean? And nothing more happened. And so I think that I would much rather sit there and like defend a game that has the content, but is lacking the polish than a game that has the polish, but is lacking content.
Mm-hmm. While you were talking, I read the whole comment, and I don't agree with like any of it. Like there's I get the comment, but it's also like I don't really agree with most of what he's saying, especially when, as you said, he brought up the soul hacker situation, and since we never like explicitly said soul hackers, that as in the reason why we were talking about that, it's just not really a valid point to bring up. Especially when, the only example I remember off the top of my head is that we brought up Persona, and I think when he kind of came after like the game's preservation point, it just because Vindy brings up how he can just emulate certain games, I don't think that devalues the point, even if Vindy like for some reason he really didn't care about games preservation, which I'm sure you do. It's still kind of it was just an extra point to add on to what you were saying in other ways that it negatively affects certain people, even if not like you.
Hold on. Emulate, like, let's just be completely dead ass here, okay? And like be completely mechanical about it. Emulation is games preservation, right? Like, before Nintendo was releasing shit, like, yes, official releases are nice and you can try to support, you know, creators and stuff through it, but emulation is fucking games preservation, right? When you talk about games preservation, you're talking about things that either can't be emulated yet, right? Like the games that are specific to online on consoles that haven't been fully cracked, and so people don't have the ROMs and can't dump the ROMs, and so things are just lost to time. Or we talk about things where, yeah, like just emulation isn't necessarily possible, right? Like, I think with the PC games, it's very sketchy when something gets delisted or, you know, you can't find it and it never had physical copies. Because in that case, it's like, yeah, are you going to actually try to, you know, are you going to trust trying to download this game and maybe getting a virus? Like, that's not the same as, like, you know, and you could say, oh, well, with ROMs and emulations like that, it's not. There's trusted places you can get emulators and ROMs for, and that is games preservation. It may not be legal games preservation, and it may not be, you know, you could even say maybe it's not ethical games preservation, but at the end of the day, it is games preservation, and as long as you can, especially if you can hook up the controller to your PC or find a mock controller, you can get the exact same or maybe just a better experience with a lot of emulators, you know, with things like upscaling and allowing the game to run at maybe a stable frame rate. You can get the exact same or a better experience as on the console in a lot of cases with emulation. So I think, like, it is games preservation. I don't think that saying that I think I emulate games or I think emulation, you know, essentially is good in instances good means I'm anti-games preservation. They're the same thing.
Oh yeah, another point that he brought up. He brought up how, like, Last of Us 2 doesn't have the multiplayer that was talked about before launch. That, like, I'm pretty sure they've always kind of specified that they've brought up the multiplayer because people would ask about it, but it's always seemed like it was always going to be, like, a different game. Like, they're working on that as a bigger standalone game. And, like, essentially explaining why it's not in Last of Us 2. So that's not, like, holding back content from Last of Us 2. That's just a completely separate thing.
Yeah, and I think that's it, because, I mean, if you've played Last of Us 1 and its multiplayer, which I have, the multiplayer is an afterthought, right? The like, you have to remember the context in which Last of Us 1 came out in, right? It was the 7th generation when every game was getting a like a multiplayer mode tacked on, right? A bunch of games got dog shit multiplayer modes added on because everything had to have online multiplayer. So Uncharted had online multiplayer, and whether or not you like it, like, it is very tacked on. It does feel very tacked on. And Last of Us had a multiplayer that was very interesting because it used so much of Last of Us mechanics. It was kind of like a survival game in like this small PvP arena where you have to use stealth in the multiplayer, but it's like third person. So it's this very, like, interesting and fun experience, and people really connected with the Last of Us multiplayer, and they added in, like, base building mechanics into how you played the multiplayer and things like that. So we got really into this multiplayer mode, so people wanted it in Last of Us 2. But Last of Us 1 was a complete experience if you just play the single player. Last of Us 2 is a complete experience if you just play the single player. People don't buy that game for the multiplayer. You buy it for the single player, and the multiplayer maybe is there on the side. That's not the same as lacking content from the base experience of a game.
Yeah, I don't think that could be compared at all to, like, any of the bad cases of Nintendo not having something finished at launch or whatever for a game. Like, you know, golf not being in Switch Sports, or Mario Golf kind of just lacking content in general, or like actual, like, maps or not maps, like like game boards in Mario Party. I don't think it's the same because, like, game boards in a Mario Party game is, like, part of the core experience, whereas multiplayer in Last of Us is not at all part of the actual experience of the game. I do think there's more here that we could talk about, but we're not trying to EWB the comment, and there's, like, a lot of stuff in the comment. Like,
yeah,
I feel like if you're gonna type a comment like this, you should, like, space some of the paragraphs in here, because it's, like, a giant block of text, and over time, like the more I stare at it, the less I like care about it, because it's like
That's me right now.
It's just too much there.
Reading it.
Well, yeah, and I mainly when I meant
it just kind of washes over me at a certain point.
Yeah, well, what I meant when I just said I didn't want to EWB it was I didn't want to be like toxic like we are in EWBs, or like when we EWB those comments, right? We were kind of like hateful and toxic. I wanted to be like respectful about explaining why I disagreed, but I didn't want to. You know what I mean? I didn't want that like that bite that we have when we start EWBing something, where we're throwing jabs and we're kind of just being dicks. So that's
Vindy, this nigga has 1 subscriber. Fuck that.
I can still be fucking nice to them, Natty.
Nah. Hey, yo, Cross, get some bitches, nigga. No one cares.
Okay. Natty doesn't represent the views of the Weeb Club.
Nah, I don't. This nigga typed up all this, couldn't wait, got his whole fucking college degree and changed the game industry from the inside out. Nigga, get out of here. Nobody fucking cared. Like, I think I understand the Soul Hackers thing, because they released on 3DS and then they put it on the PlayStation, yada yada. Nigga, stop being broke. Go get you a 3DS, go get you the game, go get you a PlayStation, and get the game.
Yeah, like I did say in the episode,
or emulate
I don't think it's
just
bad to want something to be on the Switch. I think if you really care about games, you should try to get you should at least have 2 different consoles. And I think a lot of the Nintendo people kind of just act like, just having that one console, it should get most of the things. And it's like, it's just not a reasonable expectation.
Like, if you do want to have everything on one console, like, realistically, your best choice is actually just to have a console that is, adequately powered for modern games coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, if you wanted the one console thing, it would be like getting a PC and then emulating fucking like Switch and doing all that complicated shit. But I mean, I guess it's kind of possible.
I don't understand why people just only buy a Switch. I mean, I understand it, but like, I don't understand it. I really don't.
I think it makes sense for like young kids, but I don't know. A lot of the people on like Twitter or whatever who make these arguments, they're not that young. They probably could get like a second thing, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Were there any other comments?
Prince Sidon is a bro. Who the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah. Talk about Spoon's comment. Talk about Spoon's comment. Spoon.
I don't have much to say about it. I just think it speaks for itself.
I have one thing to say about it. This means you made the typo multiple times.
I thought maybe he just like for some reason didn't want to
he was like copy paste
type it out again. He just copy paste.
But that means that every time he did it, he either just copy and paste a refresher or made the typo multiple times and didn't realize it, which is hysterical, actually.
At best, he was like on his phone. It was auto-correcting, I guess. But I mean, even then, it's still an L. But it's like, at least he wasn't typing it that way every time. I don't know. Very strange.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably about it.
With port Alice shouldn't bother with port beggars.
All right, so do we want to go to the Reddit now?
Oh fuck, I forgot about that.
So there's one that is somewhat Spoon made their chip 3x3. But here's the biggest problem with it. They used white borders, which I think is part of the meme, but I almost don't even want to talk about the 3x3 itself because they used white borders.
He definitely did that on purpose.
I know.
He knew what he was doing.
But then, I mean, he has like 3 barbecue chips on here because let's be honest, chili cheese Fritos are just barbecue flavored.
Wait,
they're better. They're literally just better though.
Yeah, they are, but they're still just like barbecue flavored. Like, let's be dead ass.
What the? They literally have a flavor called honey barbecue, Vindy. Are you smoking one? You need help?
Hello?
I wouldn't just call them a barbecue flavor.
I mean, they
Like,
kind
it's
of
in there, but I don't think it's just a barbecue flavor.
Also,
It
the
doesn't
cropping
taste
of the
anything
Pringles
like it.
image is terrible. I don't agree with what is Doritos Roulette and why is that on here, as well as just not.
Yeah, I've never
Doritos.
seen that in my life.
Is it like is Doritos Roulette? Is that just like, oh, most of my Doritos are nacho cheese, but one is super spicy? How is that like even like a flavor that someone could realistically want to put on their chip 3x3? That sounds like a gimmick. Like, that's not a real flavor. Hello? Flamin' Hot Crunchy Cheetos, let's be real. Only Mexican women eat them.
I guess I'm a Mexican woman.
That's
so.
really their market. Basic Lay's on here. That's eaten only by 5-year-old white kids.
I will admit, I had some classic Lay's recently, and I'm not digging them as much.
They're
I do
white
still
kid.
think
They're
they're
white kid
decent.
food. If you're gonna eat whatever that fucking white kid sandwich that Nun ate, you eat that with classic Lay's chips.
Kill yourself.
And then I mean, regular Tostitos are cringe, or whatever Tostitos you put on here are cringe. Always the scoops, or the fucking the scoops.
Yeah, the scoops are the best.
Yeah.
I already know what the Cars video is. Pretty sure we've all seen that, right?
I think so. When did we talk about this?
Something Craftsdwarf mentioned, so it wasn't the last weekly. It was the one before that.
Yeah, I don't remember this, but I'll believe you guys.
Oh, it was because you talked about how, like, you thought Cars, Ratatouille, and, like, Shrek were... No, some 3 movies were, like, really big as memes on TikTok or whatever.
Yes. I think Craftsdwarf brought up Body Hoarder. Wait, oh my god, I think Craftsdwarf brought up Body Horror. Oh my god, hello? Okay, so I guess we're going on to the topic for this episode, which, because Natty's here, and Natty is definitely, I think, a little bit of a fighting game fan, I think you could say. I think to cater to our guests, we decided to have fighting games as a topic, so that it wouldn't just be Nun and I responding to one comment the entire episode. So we're going to talk about fighting games in general. So I think to start with, Natty, can you just start with your, like, I guess, like, a little bit of introduction to, like, I guess, like, when you started playing fighting games, when you got into them, what maybe, like, either your favorites or what you're playing now, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So when it came with fighting games, I always played them, like, a shit ton as a kid, but I never was like into them, right? Because I didn't play a lot of games as a kid. My dad just kind of had like his PS2 and his PS3, and like every blue moon, if he went to work, I would like hop on Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or like Mortal Kombat, some shit like that. But I never really played them because I only started playing games until I hit high school, and I think like junior year is when Dragon Ball Fighterz came out. And I wasn't even going to get it because I thought it was like an arena fighter. And then when I found out it was a 2D fighter, I still wasn't going to get that shit because I didn't know what the fuck that meant. And I ended up pre-ordering it. And I forgot, it was like a certain trailer. It was like the Beerus hit, and I forget who the fuck else was. It was that trailer. And I was like, okay, I got to get this fucking game. So I pre-ordered it from a shitty GameStop, and some random backwards hood. I don't know where the fuck that was. It was terrible. But so I got my game, and for 2 nights straight on school nights, I couldn't stop playing it. I was like,
You just
get
like
home,
immediately fell in love?
Yes, it was mad fun. I was like, I think I was dog shit at that game for like 6 months. Like unbelievably trash. But I just kept trying, kept going, then I got decent. And I've kept playing it for 3 years. And of course, other fighting games came out like BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Now I play a bunch of older games. Like I tried Third Strike. And then like basically Fighterz was like the start of me really, really getting into fighting games. And now I don't play Fighterz as much anymore. I think after 4 years of playing that game pretty on. I think I'm good. I've done my due diligence, So now I'm playing KOF, kind of Central Fiction, BlazBlue Central Fiction, and Persona because Vindy has me at gunpoint because he wants to beat my ass with kanji.
It's funny.
But yeah, that's kind of my journey. It's very dedicated to Fighterz. That's why it's still my favorite fighting game of all time.
Okay. None. What about you?
Oh, you asking a Smash nigga? Okay.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want none.
I'm joking.
I want you to talk about like including like arena fighters, right? Because I know you play like a lot of like Clash and Ninja, right, and like the Dragon Ball games, and then also including Smash.
I mean, yeah, but I
no, because I think those count as fighting games, so they count to talk about.
They do. I just don't think about them because it's like they're kind of dog shit. But it's like I played them a lot as a kid because my dad like really liked anime and he had a lot of consoles and since we just already knew about like Dragon Ball and Naruto and like all these things so young, it seemed cool to just buy those games. And I definitely played way more of those than I played like actual Nintendo games at that time. Like I never played Mario Sunshine or some of those like Mario 64 and like some of that stuff. I would just like always go to GameStop to get like Naruto Clash of Ninja. Even though I had Naruto Clash of Ninja 2, there was this one time when I bought the first game just because it's like, I don't know, I just really wanted more of that, even though the first game is just like actually bad. Like at least compared to the second game, because it's like
right.
The second game is just the same thing but better. So I'm just playing like a worse version for no reason. At Dragon Ball Z Budokai, just like I basically would get as many of those games as possible. And I think, I would play them a lot against like my brothers. I would get very upset when I lost because I was like super competitive about it. Like not necessarily like, oh, we played like with an actual like rule set or anything, but I did want to win. But eventually, I have played like Mortal Kombat at a certain point, not like competitively, but I think off the top of my head, it was probably a game that, at least for a little bit, I guess I kind of tried to be good at it. I have no idea how good of a strategy this even is, but in one of the games, I knew there was a certain point where like I would switch my characters constantly because it was like almost no like lag between switching characters. So I would try to like combo with one character into another like while switching. It's probably a terrible strategy to do, but like I would just like keep attacking while switching to see if I could like chain something together. And I guess since the people I was playing against were also not good, that worked. Because, like, I just think logically in my head, there's no way that was, like, actually a good thing to do. But it worked. So I thought it was cool to do. And then eventually I just started, like, once the Wii came out and I played Brawl for the first time, that was just pretty much the fighting game, quote-unquote fighting game, that I eventually liked the most and started actually playing. But even then, I didn't know about like a competitive scene for Brawl. It was really when like Smash Wii U that I knew about it because I watched Etika and I saw him talk about how people put a bounty on Zero's head. Like if someone can beat Zero, they'll get this amount of money for it. And I'm pretty sure that's what made me know about like Smash tournaments, and I just started kind of watching them. And then that's when I like started actually playing the game, trying to be like competitive and trying to be good at it, even though I was also like very bad at first. And
I feel you on that. That's how I got started to watch a lot of tournaments and shit.
And this was still during the time when like I would get really mad about about stuff like that. Like I would be getting red in the face after I lost sometimes, and like, you know, I never like threw my controller, but like I would definitely get up and like move around because of it. And you know, I think I it's hard to like grasp how good I am at the game. Like I know I'm decent. Like I'm not like I'm not gonna lose to some random person, but you know, I haven't entered like tournaments. Like I've entered some online tournaments and like played against people online, but I've never went to like a local, so I don't know how good I would be. But it just, I think for a while I just, you know, I just kind of played with people online and I kind of practiced. I even at one, like the most try hard phase that I've ever had with that is I actually got a journal for the purposes of writing down every character and like writing down things about how well my character does against them and kind of like trying to
figure out
study the game. Yeah, like study matchups. I played. See, I hate to play the character I played in Smash 4 because it's so cringe to me now. But I mained Toon Link at the time.
Oh,
yeah, very L.
Dirty. Yeah, okay.
By the end of Smash 4, I did just play Diddy, with like kind of still playing Toon Link, and then now I just play Diddy, and every Smash game that I play that has Diddy in it, I just play Diddy. But yeah, I think that's like my general thing. Ultimate, at the start of the game, I did try to play competitively, but I wasn't like that interested in doing so. So like at this point, it's kind of like an on and off thing. Like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I kind of really want to be good at this game and I really want to like do stuff. Even today, like literally today, I was thinking like maybe I should try to like practice the game, and like I decided to join a Steve Discord so I can get matchup practice against Steve's because I'm not good at fighting Steve. He's you know, he's a DLC character, so I haven't played many of them. Generally, Diddy does dog shit against like characters like Steve, kind of sort of. So it's like, you know, I thought it would be a start if I did want to do it. Nobody responded though when I pinged them for a match, so I ended up just like being in training mode.
Wait, so there's a Discord dedicated to only Steve players?
There's a Discord for every character in Smash. Like if you want matchup practice for a character, you just join the Discord for that specific character.
Man, I need, bro. Can we get
Natty's about to say, hold up.
Wait,
Can we start getting this going in other fighting games? No, Natty, because the
I
problem
need
is Smash is the only fighting game that can do that, because even though it has 70 characters, it has the biggest audience by far. It's the only one you can actually find Discords full of people that like main a character and want to play a lot of Smash.
Shit, I need that. God damn.
I also planned on doing that for like Samus and some like other projectile characters, just to like, you know, because that's like always the thing that I think I personally need more practice playing against, especially when like you're rusty and playing projectile. Like I can jump back into playing the game, but like for projectile characters, I think when you don't like practice and you don't have like a certain level of patience, you're just not going to be good against them. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say I'm going to go anywhere with it, but it's like, you know, I'm going to see if I can stay interested. Yeah.
Wait, so would you say you're more casual nowadays?
I mean,
not like you're not in a bad way. I mean, just like casually playing the game. But like,
yeah, like I'll just play some sets and I'll just, you know, that'll basically be it. And I don't always want to like ping people to play. So unfortunately, I'm in the shackles of Elite Smash where I just fucking
the Wi-Fi warriors.
I hate them so much because they do this thing where like they'll play one match and then they'll leave. Like there's so many people who just one and done on there. Like,
I hate that. Finish
like
the
if I
set,
beat them,
man.
they'll leave, or if they beat me one time, they'll leave. Especially when it's like a really close game, they don't want to play another one. It's so annoying. And like
Yeah,
I hate the Elite Smash system because it's like it forces you to play a different way than you actually should. Because say like I'm in the percent lead, right? But I'm on the same stock as them. It'll do the sudden death thing where it doesn't matter that I had the lead, I'll still have the potential of losing. But if it was like an actual set, I would just win the set. So like I just have to start playing in a rushed way because I don't want time to run out. It's really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's your turn, Vindy.
Yeah. So, I only remember a couple fighting games, like very occasionally, that I would play with my brother. The first one was, we had like an Xbox, and I've talked about it before, but it was like modded and whatever, and it had a Street Fighter game on it, and it was, I think it was like a Street Fighter game that had 2 games in it, and I don't fully remember what it is, but by saying it, someone in the world might know what it is. But it was like a Street Fighter game and it had 2 games on it. It was like I think it was an anniversary collection. And one of the games was a version of Street Fighter 3. I don't know if it was like necessarily Third Strike, but it was a version of Street Fighter 3. And I played that with my brother a lot, but I didn't like it. He did because I was bad at it. And he would play whatever character it is in Street Fighter 3 that is like the goo man. Like he like shape shifts into shit, you know what I'm talking about, Natty?
Yeah, I believe so. Is it what's his name? 11?
Something like that. Yeah. I knew it was a number. Yeah. My brother would play him, and I don't remember who I'd play, and I would just get my ass beat every time. And so I didn't like playing that. And then later on when I got a 360, I got Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. I think we went half and half on that because he was a big like Batman fan and stuff. And we thought it would be fun because the Xbox also had Mortal Kombat on it, but we'd play that like almost never because it was the bad Xbox Mortal Kombats, right? And we played a little bit of that, and then we had Gamefly for like a short stint, and we played a lot of we like got Mortal Kombat 9 for a while, and we played a shit ton of that, and then sent it back. And then like I played Smash a lot, but then there was like a point where like I remember like I always thought like, because I remember being bad at like fighting games, but being like, you know, maybe I would like to try more of these, but I never really tried to get into it, and then. Way later down the line, I was like, I like owned Street Fighter 5 and a couple other fighting games. And I wasn't super into them, and I got Tekken and Under Night very recently to each other. And I actually played a lot of both of those games, like Tekken 7 and oh, that's the other thing I remember. I've talked about this before. I think there was a Mexican restaurant when I was a kid that I would go to. Like my older brother and all of his friends in like elementary school, all of our parents became friends. And so we would go out all the time with them. And like once a week we'd go to like this Mexican restaurant, and they had like a little like arcade section that had like the Simpsons arcade game and I think Tekken 4. And we would always just like at a certain point when they were probably all drinking margaritas, we were all like in the arcade playing, you know, fucking like either the Simpsons game all together or like people were playing Tekken. And we played like that a lot, but I remember like I started playing like Tekken 7 a lot and thought it was super fun. And then I also picked up Under Night in Birth at some point, I don't fucking know. I was playing like a lot of those, and then I stopped playing Under Night, but I kept playing Tekken like quite a bit, and I kind of like almost like bridged the gap where like I got to a point where I was like, okay, I kind of understand like how fighting games work almost, if that makes sense, where like, you know what I mean? Like you got to understand like how the games actually work, because if you don't play them, like even like knowing like even being able to do a quarter circle, like, you know, you have to fucking play it first. And so once I got over like that, like, you know, being able to like pretty quickly learn a character's like moves and like move on from that, where like at the start I remember that was like really hard to do, like, oh, how can I remember all these fucking attacks for one character? And then now I'm mainly playing, I don't play Tekken much anymore because that game's hard and it scares me. I've mainly been playing Guilty Gear, Persona 4 a lot since that came out, actually. I think that game's super fucking fun. And then King of Fighters, which I picked up as well last week. KOF 15, but I thought that was obvious.
King go Fighters.
I'd still probably say my favorite fighting game is Tekken 7 right now. I think that game's super fucking fun. It's just like scary. But yeah.
Yeah, Tekken's mad fucking hard.
It's so hard.
I'll go ahead.
And I've put like I have like 32 hours in the game. So I probably made it sound like I've played it a lot more than I have. But for a fighting game, that's like my most by like 12 hours. You know what I mean? Like Guilty Gear Strive is 18. It's almost 19. And I have 21 in Under Night. So it's like a lot more in Tekken. Most of that's been on one character, and I want to try to learn a new character. But the thought of actually having to go in and like because like what generally what you do is like you got to do all the moves and then see what moves of those are good and then practice those a lot, know how they're good, and then go into games and just spam the character and like get used to using all the moves in the situations they're good, and then learning like a good decent combo that like one you can hit off your big launcher that does a lot of damage, one you can hit off a smaller launcher that does moderate damage, and then one that like is like kind of like a combo route that you can get into off of like any of your launchers. And it takes so much to like be able to do that. It's like, do I really want to do that with another character? And it's like the characters I want to do. It's like Kunimitsu looks so fun, but it's like I am not smart enough for that shit, man. Like just give me like a brain dead character. You know what I mean? Like I play Kanji and Baiken. All right, it's fucking brain dead. All right, I just want a fucking big button.
No, I feel that going into learning a new character is always fucking something else. Because even in because I think Fighterz is probably one of the easier fighting games out right now. Mm-hmm. That still like has a fan base. Because like almost every character like combo structure is the same, right? But the more advanced stuff is when you're actually gonna have to start labbing. Because I remember for a long time I wanted to play Nappa because I liked his setup, and I didn't have the courage to actually like try him because I knew a lot of the more technical stuff was hard as balls. Like getting Cyberman into the right setup was kind of difficult, but I mean. You just kind of gotta, go in there, try it, do your shit. But it's probably better to have a full understanding of the game at that point because I think that's like what's mad scary, understanding the mechanics. Because some games just have like ridiculous amount of mechanics that you just have to know, especially like older, like early 2000s or mid 2000s fighting games. Like Marvel 3 ain't no slouch. I'll never play that game, despite how sick it is. I would never.
I think what I like to do personally when I'm like trying to like what I'm doing right now a lot with Persona and what I need to start doing with KOF where I kind of have it. I think I have my roster that I want to play. I might make one or two more changes, and actually look a little bit more because I watched a video today, about the KOF like the three best, like the best like the Vanessa Terry or the Vanessa Ralph Terry and like why it's so good. And so now it's like, okay, I want to think a little bit more about, like, if I have, like, a roster, like, what goes where because of that. And then I'll learn, like, very basic combos, right? Like, nothing that, like, is going to be like, I'm going to hit someone for full health, right? I'll be like, okay, this is, like, like the combo I was using on Kanji on you the other day, right? Where it's a very basic one that isn't maximum damage, but it kind of can, like, punish well enough that it's fine. And then what I do is
BNB, right?
I just play the game and I focus mainly on like neutral and like learning like the individual mechanics of the game. And then when it's like, okay, now like I feel like I kind of understand the mechanics going on in the game, especially for games where there's like especially like anime fighters, I feel like love to just have like 20 different mechanics for like defense. And it's like, okay, well, which one is which? And what is the difference between like cancels and like the like two kinds of birds, you know what I mean? There's like all this shit going on where it's like I want to know all of that, and then I'll go in and learn like maybe harder combos and then work with that. You know what I mean? And I feel like that works really well because to win a lot, especially if you're like gonna play the game ranked, you don't actually win those games through doing full HP combos. You win it through just like hitting them more than they hit you.
Yeah, like playing new because you got to learn neutral.
Yeah,
you have to. Because I think, like, especially, like, example, when you say anime games, like, the ridiculous amount. Okay, so, I don't, like, most people probably don't, like, y'all know, but most people don't know that I have, like, strong opinions on Strive. That doesn't mean I like fucking Rev 2. Rev 2 has way too many mechanics for any fighting game to have. Way too, it's utter madness,
you gotta take, like, a college-level class to play the game at, like, a base level?
Literally so like there are, a lot of people that like want people to get into fighting games. I want a lot more people to get into fighting games, they'll be like, just go in. It ain't that hard. You just got to put the time in and you'll be all right. Even if you don't want to get like competitive, because I'm personally competitive. So, but like most people, they just want to get in, know what to do, and not lose every fucking match. To those people, do not touch Rev 2. Act like that game don't exist. Just watch the cutscenes, watch the tournaments. Don't play that game. Because that game is nowhere near for people that want to get in. Strive is probably the perfect mixture despite my issues with it. So I'm glad the changes they made from what Rev 2 did. Like, Roman Cancel was way, way more useful in Strive than it was in Rev. Mm-hmm. And you don't have a fucking danger time. You don't got fucking mashing on wake up. There's still that mechanic in Strive, but it's not as oppressive as it was in like Rev 2 and shit.
Yeah.
So like, I guess the overall thing I'm going for is that like I'm kind of liking this way fighting games are going to make it more so that people can just come in and learn real quick and just have a fun time with it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean making it right.
Well,
you see what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, so, I should have mentioned it, that a large part of the reason that I played as much Strive as I have, and I've played a lot of Persona, and I'll probably continue to play a lot of Strive, Persona, and King of Fighters, is a really good friend of mine who's like a guy I talk to a lot, and we'll just play a lot of games together when we're like chatting. Got Strive, and we played that a lot, and picked up Persona, and then Natty actually bought him King of Fighters, and then I bought my version. And we've been playing that a lot. And so we've been playing a lot of fighting games together. And it's nice playing with someone that, like, is as shit as you. Like,
Yeah.
We're like, we're both bad, so it's fine. And then we'll play with Natty sometimes, and he'll kick our ass. But it's fine because, we almost have this solidarity about it. And, like, I definitely think we were talking about it the other day. We were playing Guilty Gear. It's like, we've both gotten so much better than we were when we first started playing, like, Guilty Gear against each other. And, like, he wouldn't have gotten into it at all if Strive wasn't as easy to get into as it is. And so I think that like, is a super good thing in Strive's favor. And I don't think Strive is, and, I'm not good at fighting games. You know what I mean? So I could just be speaking super wrong here. But I don't think Strive's, like the casualization in Strive stops it from being, like, a game where, like, being better doesn't matter.
No, the casualization of Strive is the damage, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. But the damage in Strive is what makes it easier because it feels like your moves have way more impact because of the damage.
Yeah, like, you don't have to hit a huge combo to do a lot of damage. You can just hit like 3-4 hits, and that's enough to, like, be substantial enough to make a difference in the round.
Yeah, because that's what a lot of fighting games are doing, especially with Strive's success. That's what, like, it scares me, but I'm also happy because Strive is doing a lot, especially for, like, rollback netcode and just, like, the amount of people that got word around and then bought Strive are still playing Strive and just how popular it is. I'm glad what it's doing, but there are, like, kind of, like, little things about it that I wish weren't in it, and they're probably going to go into newer games like DNF Dual Drops. That beta was fucking madness, and the damage was ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure a lot of that wasn't, like, probably influenced a little bit from the success of what Strive did. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
Well, I think, I think the thing with the damage getting increased, right, is that it almost changes what the games are about, I guess, right? Because, like, when you have, like, really high damage, but it's, like, I guess it becomes much more about, like, neutral game, right? And a lot less about, like, I don't know. Actually, I shouldn't try to sound smart because I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I mean, I think it at least as someone who's not good, it feels good playing a game where, I guess there's a lot higher, like, damage on my hits because, like, if I'm playing against you, right, and we're playing Persona 4, my kanji can win just because it does a lot of damage. And I have played him enough that, like, if I hit, like, a couple grabs, it's like, okay, it's close. Even if you, in theory, could, like, combo me for a shit ton, I still have that ability to do a big damage.
Yeah, make that comeback.
Yeah. And so I think that's why a lot of people like. I think that's why it makes it easier to get into. And then when you get into it, then obviously you probably then want to go, a little bit farther back. But I think that the accessibility is nice. As long as, I guess, in theory, there are games that have that are still more, I guess, hardcore in that sense, and so you can have both. But
yeah, I wanted to bring it around because you said, "Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, you haven't. Go ahead."
Yeah. So I mean, I can't really speak on like traditional fighting games in terms of like comeback mechanics and stuff, but I'm definitely like, at least from having played Smash in that context specifically, I really dislike comeback mechanics for the sake of casual players, kind of, sort of, because it's like, if you're actually a skilled player, you're gonna beat casual players either way. So all that the comeback mechanic is gonna start to do is eat away at like the competitive, like between competition between competitive players, and make like if you're a actual competitive player and you're playing against like another person who's like somewhat close to your skill level, I think that's when it starts making like that comeback mechanic intended for casuals like actually just kind of like a toxic kind of less fun thing to deal with, because I think it does actually like get in the way of deciding who, of having the clear winner, and like having like, this person actually did outplay this person, versus like a comeback mechanic getting in the way of like, you made this tiny mistake, so eat a billion damage for it and just kind of like lose, which I just don't like, at least when it came to like comeback mechanics in like Smash, like with Rage and Smash 4, I just don't think it's generally a good idea to bring in more casual players, because like those casual players who need that to get into a game, eventually they do just stop playing, and I don't think it's good for like long-term health, even if in like the short term it kind of makes like casual players feel kind of good when they're playing against like their friends. I don't know.
I kind of agree with you, because I mean, because the longevity of the game could be affected by, trying to bring in these smaller players. Because like back on Strive, a lot of that shit, and well, like, it's not really a comeback mechanic, but the damage is kind of the comeback mechanic. And the fact that you can lose off of one tiny mistake, especially with some characters having, like Chip, for example, who I play, his health is already low in every single iteration he's in. But his damage being low on top of the raw damage you already do against normal characters just make it like, oh, you blocked my sweep. Now I'm about to eat 70% instead of 50% because of the character I'm playing. And it makes that character damn near just unplayable despite what he has in his kit.
Yeah.
So like that, like, even though it's working for like, a lot of the more, casually oriented audience, people like me, it's like, all right, just get good, but I'm affected if I fuck up once. Like,
yeah, and like, I guess speaking for Smash, like I could kind of see like how a comeback mechanic kind of be better in like traditional fighting games, but at least for Smash, I feel like the entire game is built around being a comeback mechanic with like percents, not necessarily like, you don't have a health bar, you're not necessarily gonna die when you're at like even 200%. It just really comes down to like, like if I'm at 200% and someone's at like 75%, they have an advantage, but like I could still spike them off stage, or like still edge guard them out of existence. So there's a lot of opportunity for comebacks. So it doesn't need extra comeback mechanics like Rage, or character specific comeback mechanics, which kind of annoy me in Ultimate, because like a lot of DLC characters have that, like Joker's Arsene, and like just like really like they'll make like a really bad, like kind of unbalanced character, kind of, sort of, but they'll have like that one or two specific whatchamacallit, like standalone moves that kind of like make it so that they can kind of I don't want to say get lucky, but it's like they can it's hard to like kind of explain what I mean by it, but it's kind of like they can abuse those two moves to kind of come back in the game, rather than just like engaging with like the already established kind of mechanics of the game to be able to mount a comeback, kind of, sort of. Like with like I guess, see, I don't know if I have like the huge problem with like Banjo's like side B, but it is kind of like one of those moves that I think of where you kind of can rely on just using that to come back. And I think it's fine in isolation with like one character, but like multiple characters have these kind of moves that I just think it's a little too much for like so many characters to have this. And it's kind of something I don't like about Ultimate. It's like, you know, if I you know, if I'm prepared for it with like Banjo and stuff, I don't like having to worry about it for so many different characters. I just think it's like less interesting when a lot of characters have that. Yeah, I think comeback mechanics in like fighting games are a really odd thing. At least, you know, at least for someone who plays Smash. I'm not really sure about in other games.
Nah, it can be pretty cool for like some games, like Marvel 3's X Factor, despite how busted it is, because you do like what 50% on top of your base damage when you unlock it at level 3, and it just makes a lot of the games in like in high level play just basically, all right, I lost 2 characters, and let's say you got like Virgil. You're not playing a 1v3, you're playing Virgil versus 3, so basically you still have a chance. So like it can be detrimental sometimes, but sometimes it can just make the game more like, you know, people want to play it more even when it's older. So like I feel like Marvel is just a very specific like game, because there's not many other games that do that. Because like Mortal Kombat with Fatal Blows, that mechanic's ass, like really really bad, because it has armor on startup, and you could just win a game by just pressing the 2 bumpers on the back of your controller and just win if y'all both low. It's really bad, but
yeah, I can see how like comeback mechanics for like a spectator, spectator, yeah, could find it like engaging, because it does allow for more upsets to happen and more like you're not certain who's gonna win. So like it does have its benefits in certain ways, but I think it could be taken too far, and when the comeback mechanic is like specifically for casual players, that's when I kind of don't like it. Like I think in the case where you're talking about like X Factor, it feels like, at least your explanation, it felt like it just made the game more interesting in general, and like it's also kind of for competitive players, but like,
oh no, it's definitely not.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's utterly madness. Because like I said, you do like damn near like 50-60% off of your base damage at level 3, because basically when you lose all your characters, your X Factor goes up and how long it's gonna last on your character. But it also buffs the damage. So, and it also has like, I think an invincibility on startup. Like let's say you whiff a move. Well, most people just use it, they'll whiff a move, or like they'll get blocked and the move they did is unsafe. Pop X Factor and you're safe as hell. But like that's more so competitive. But like let's say you're playing casually, both of you are bad and you're dominating, and by some miracle the person you're fighting into is bad the whole game, just starts popping off, and he has X Factor, there's possibility he's gonna 1v3 your entire team with like no effort. Because literally one combo, you're dead. And that's what anybody in the cast. But I wouldn't say it's bad, because even though it is madness, it's just that fun to, because it's just the, like you said, the anticipation of not knowing if he's going to win or not. So it's kind of good it's good for spectators. It's kind of good for a competitive player. You have to ask someone who actually plays Marvel 3 like really hard, because I've only played it like casually. But I've watched enough to like, you know, kind of see what's going on, how this game is played and shit.
I think when it comes to those type of mechanics, if it ends up being an overall benefit to the game, I feel like it depends whether or not a competitive player would get tired of dealing with that. Like I think spectators will always maybe not have the best sense of when something's just like kind of too bullshit. But I think if like competitive players start losing interest and start getting frustrated at it, then it does reflect to spectators who kind of like wake up and like, you know, like, oh man, all these people are going away, and like they kind of understand a little bit better how it affects the game over time.
I feel like that's more with newer characters, because ironically, you bring that up with like, you know, people getting competitors getting tired of the game. That I feel like new characters will affect that more, because like if the game is gonna be like, let's say fighting games launch for like 2 to 3 years most of the time, then most of the top players would have left by now. They wouldn't even be playing it for a full year. But if they like it and like, let's say a new character drops, because you were talking about Smash earlier and how like Banjo and Joker, their mechanics and what they can do is kind of utterly madness for like, you know, it's kind of like pay to
I don't
win.
even think it's madness with Banjo. It's just one example that came off the top of my head about like a certain type of way DLC characters are designed compared to normal characters.
Yeah, because like nowadays it's like characters are like they're not pay to win, but the devs are gonna make them more, you know, more powerful because
they always have that something that's more unique about them compared to the rest of the cast, which eventually just like, you know, people will get kind of annoyed with a little bit.
Yeah, because in Fighterz right now, that's what they're doing. They released Android 21 in her lab code, like, you know, when she was a human. And, or I guess I don't know. But she is no debate on, like, day zero. Everyone knew she was the best character in the game.
Why the fuck with Fighterz? I swear to God, it's fucking GT Goku. It's Killer Instinct Goku. It's DBS. It's like every time a new character comes out, I hear every person who plays fucking Fighterz say like, "Oh yeah, best character in the game by far, unreal." Like, hello?
It's like, because bro, I think Fighterz has the most documented metas I've ever fucking seen. It's like first it was like at release it was selling Kid Buu, then Bardock dropped, and then fucking swap meta and made Piccolo like basically godlike, and then we got season 2 and it was Vegito. Then we got fucking who was it, GT Goku, and then it was Gotenks, and then like it. I don't know what's up with Fighterz, and now it's Lab Code 21. And before her, it was Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I despise that character, but I don't. I guess he's not as good as I'm putting him out. I just suck ass apparently, but
I feel that.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. They just keep they won't even balance the game anymore. I think the game's production is done, because I think Labco was the final character, and I don't know if they're going to release another patch despite the game really kind of needing one. What if they don't?
I would hope for you guys they do, because I think you can't just drop the final character and then leave. Like, that's way too risky for that final character to just be like disgusting for the game. Like, you don't know how it's going to affect the meta until it's been out for a while.
They've done it before. The GT was the monster of the entire game for like 5 or 4 months before we got a new character. Janemba dropped. Like, Janemba now is really solid. But when he first dropped, they were like, all right, Janemba gonna be the GT killer. All right, boys. No. He dropped. No one played him. GT was still the nightmare of the city. Because like they were literally, because season 2 of Fighterz was over the entire course of the year, which was a very, I don't know why they did that. So basically they would drop a character, say deal with it, come back like in 5 months, hero another character, deal with it. So if they do just drop lab code and just leave, I wouldn't be shocked.
Unfortunate.
Very. We're crying.
I think in comparison to like Smash, luckily it's not as much of a problem with like Aegis being clearly the best character, because there's so many characters in the game that there's like surprisingly not that many like good Aegis players. Like, there's a lot of them, but it's like right now there's this mentality for Ultimate where, you know, you can just play whoever you want for the most part. And I think when it comes to like Ultimate, a lot of people are like kind of sheepish about like the general mentality surrounding the game, since like MK Leo is just playing Byleth, who a lot of people just thought was like a mid-tier. Everybody's just thinking, let me just play the character I really like. But if he actually did just play Aegis, like only Aegis, then I think the meta would be so much worse, because a lot of people would just like Aegis? Kind of follow. That's the name that you call both Pyra and Mithra.
Okay, I was so confused as well.
Right, I was just
I was about to like, is there a Smash character I don't know about? I was about to like actually start typing shit in fucking Google. Thank you, Natty, for asking. My lord.
I did not know that. Shoot, I need to.
I'm pretty sure that's some kind of spoiler for the game. I'm assuming that, like, once you know that they're both the same person, they just have the name Aegis.
Okay.
But I've heard it in commentary and, like, seeing them talk about it. So it's like now it's become more of a habit to just refer to them as Aegis instead of Pyramithra.
I'm so glad you brought up commentators. Fuck commentators, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Like, I can't. There's only like 5 commentators I fuck with. Most of them are annoying because they're in that fucking esports scene, so they gotta be all like, nice and can't say shit or be like, damn, that nigga got fucked, and they're just talking like, oh, let's analyze this match, and then just fuck up like half of the analysis. Like, I'm sick of commentators. Can we just get them out? Can we just have niggas shit talking the entire time? Put the mics on the player. That's what we need. He gets hit by some unsafe shit and just be like, damn, that stupid motherfucker over there doing monkey shit.
What do you, okay, so because this is the Weeb Club, and I feel like we haven't talked about anime in a while, and because, I mean, Natty, you mentioned it, and Nun mentioned it as well, as like, how do you guys feel about like fighting games that are either like fighting games that are based on anime, including, I guess, like what you think of the 3D like arena fighter, and then like what would you want to actually no, just start there, I guess.
I'm so fucking glad you asked that, because I think the new Demon Slayer game is like the shining light right now.
Really? You like it?
I think I've not played it myself. I want to wait for a sale because I'm not paying $60 for that shit. But I think the competitive scene at Demon Slayer shows that 3D arena fighters can actually be competitive.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not, because it's obviously Kimetsu, but it is wild seeing that it actually has like a competitive scene. And I've seen TikToks of like
I've never heard
tournaments
of it.
and no, like the game actually has like a bunch of online tournaments that are held because people like playing the game
crazy.
And it's all what's funny is it seems like, because apparently the Ninja Storm is in a very small competitive community. It looks like it's like all the people that played Ninja Storm just also like mainly migrated over, and then it's just like all the Kimetsu fans. And so it actually has, it has a competitive scene.
Yeah, it makes me happy because I can stop shitting on arena fighters now. But
I guess
like not only does I was like, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just gonna say, I guess I'm like not crazy surprised that an arena fighter could be competitive, since like people did think Pokken competitively was pretty good, and it's like most of the game is kind of in the 3D arena, even if it shifts back and forth between 2D and 3D. But I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, Pokken's more like Tekken, right?
I don't know. I haven't played it.
I mean, it is based on Tekken, so I guess it doesn't like fully prove it. But I think like part of it kind of, there's something there, I think, that shows that people could be into it in like a 3D space.
Yeah, because I remember seeing some Pokken tournaments, but obviously I don't know what the fuck going on. But it seems like, oh, no. Okay, so this is more like an arena fighter from what I'm looking at right now.
I mean, it shifts the styles, but
like, I'm not saying that arena fighters just can't have competitive bases, but like most of them are, geared towards the general audience. So most of them are, going to be way easier. The combos are going to be like nothing. You just press square over and over and over again, and you get a combo. Maybe you mix it up a little bit, but most of them are, then you just walk in, you go over your boy's house, you just, hey, we're gonna load up Storm. You already know what you're about to do. You can just learn it right off the bat. But it seems like with Kimetsu, like a lot of it, like there's like combos for it, there's BNBs, there's super confirms, all of this. There's new like the mechanics for defense and shit. I'm just like, this is an actual fucking fighting game. This is for a real fucking fighting game, besides the whole arena shit. Because, I mean, I still don't get down with that. I don't know why. I gotta, like, dash in front of the arena. I gotta, like, rush towards them and shit. But, like, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'm actually glad to see that, Kimetsu is, like, actually showing that, hey, y'all can make these games for, like, hardcore audiences. They don't gotta just be, brain dead.
And so do you think that in theory could mean a bunch, because clearly there's something about the 3D arena fighter that makes it more appealing to make anime games based off of, right? Just that's what most of them are. So for some reason there has to be something more appealing about doing it like that, right? I don't know if it's cheaper or easier or what.
Yeah, I was thinking it was cheaper.
But
that's what I was
if that like is the case, right? Then do you think that potentially opens the door for a bunch of other arena fighters to potentially come out based on anime series and have competitive scenes of their own? Or
I would hope so. I would really hope so. That's what the new Demon Slayer thing is showing. Cause like, I honestly I don't have an answer. I would hope so. I would really fucking hope so. Cause I think like the only 3D fighter that tried to market itself as more of a traditional fighting game, but still have the 3D arena space was that Kill a Kill game.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that flopped, and no one fucking bought it despite Kill a Kill's popularity.
Yeah,
So,
that game just came
I'm
out
not
at the
sure.
wrong time. I mean, the problem is Kill la Kill's popular, but if that game had come out in 2014, probably would have been a lot more popular. Although the problem is obviously, right, it's weird because, you know, part of also what they were trying to market was like ArcSys is working on it, right? Or publishing it or something, right? And it's like the problem is ArcSys' popularity and Kill la Kill's popularity didn't line up. Because like if Kill la Kill, right, had come out in, you know, like right before that and was like peaking in popularity, when then also Guilty Gear was like looking amazing, and you had ArcSys making these games that look so good, and now it's like, oh, they're doing a Kill la Kill game, people would be like buying it. But it's like Kill la Kill was old by then, right? Like not only was it old, but there were so many people who were anime fans that had never seen Kill la Kill or didn't care about it because the show had come out in 2012. That by the time the game came out in 2018, 2019, nobody cared anymore. That was 6 years ago. There had been this whole brand new generation of anime fans brought up on completely different series, right? So it just didn't work.
Yeah, so like it was weird because like now like with that, obviously that show nobody fucking wanted that, and then like other because they'll listen to like, you know, obviously the reception of it, but like I don't know because like, it seemed like they were listening to the negativity more than the positivity of it. Like we're probably not gonna get another Black Clover game ever. Like what the fuck Quartet Nights was, because who the fuck bought Quartet Nights despite Black Clover's popularity?
Right.
Guitar Skater did.
I mean,
Owned.
I have it too, but I've never installed that shit. I just have the game.
I think they could do more games like the Kimetsu game if this competitive scene lasts for long enough. Like if it has like actual tournaments that are like have eyes on them, I think there's no way other games won't do that. It just kind of depends, I think. I haven't heard of the competitive thing with them personally, so I don't really know how big it is, but yeah.
It's pretty big, I ain't gonna lie. I think the prize pools are pretty decent too, because that's also like a big issue with fighting games. Prize pools just not being that high due to just the niche. Like even though fighting games are a lot more popular nowadays, it's still like a niche thing.
Yeah, when
like
you compare,
games.
I mean, if you compare, you know, the prize pool of a fighting game tournament to, especially within esports, to other games, right? Like, you know, it's pretty common now, right? I would say among, you know, the major esports, right? A big event's prize pool is going to be around $1 million, right? But then the other thing with like the other big esports is not just that, then also, right, the big thing is like salaries being hundreds of thousands plus dollars to millions of dollars, where people are making a lot of money in those. In fighting games, yeah, the money is a lot smaller, and you know, there's not those like salaries, so you have to make money at events. So I'd imagine if you're trying to make a living playing fighting games, right, it is very much a freelance thing where you have to go to these tournaments, so you just have to be playing the games that have money behind them.
Yeah, even with like Smash, despite it being like one of the bigger fighting games, most of the people who compete don't make enough off of just going to tournaments. Like a lot of them have to like make content also for it to be viable, or they have to go to like a lot of locals and like mop the floor with them, and that's how they're getting their money, instead of like, even if they place like top 8 at a major tournament, that's still kind of not enough for them. Like it's kind of that bad, compared to like other esport games.
Yeah, because I don't even know if esports teams, like, do they pay them?
I would assume
I
that
know they,
being
like, pay for, like,
sponsored
flights
by
and
yeah,
stuff.
like I would assume like Team Liquid sponsors a couple of Street Fighter players and stuff. And I mean C9 sponsors Mango for Smash, and I mean okay, actually
I feel like it's
Smash
just
has a lot
travel
more
help.
sponsors. No,
I
there's
don't.
there's no. I'm just gonna be honest. There's no world. A lot of those sponsors, sponsoring players, aren't giving some sort of a salary, even if it's a small one. There's no way it's just
but,
travel help.
I don't think it. I mean, for like the major sponsors, yeah, there's probably more money there. But I think for some of like the smaller sponsor stuff, I don't think it's. I think it's just travel stuff for some of the, some of the not established organizations. Could be wrong though.
Or like anyone who like has like a Red Bull sponsorship, like Red Bull pays them more than just travel expenses. There's no shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, but just bless those competitors, because I wouldn't do it. I'd just be like, I'm going to my local. I'll be known in my town, nigga.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I don't know. It don't seem like a worthwhile venture.
you don't want to travel to a tournament ever, or you just wouldn't want to do that and try to make a living off of that?
I wouldn't want to make a living off of it, because I've been to locals and tried to compete.
No,
I've
I
only
meant
been
like,
with-
but like, would you ever want to like travel to like Evo or like Combo Breaker or like one of those big tournaments? Would you ever want to
Oh
go
yeah,
to one
of
of
course.
those? Okay.
Of course. I plan on going to Evo next year.
Epic. I do want to go to like a major tournament once in my life. I feel like
what-
Smash Con would be fun.
Okay, I was gonna ask for Smash because I feel like for Smash, I feel like there are just like unless you're going to like one you're closer to, right? I feel like if I think like a Smash event I would want to go to, it would either be Smash Con or it would like actually I think have to be Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a friend who used to go to Evo every year, but he was a Smash player, so he won't go anymore. But I had a friend who used to go to Evo every year. And he said it was super fun, and he would always like watch the other fighting games main stages because he thought they were so fun. But
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Evo said, "Fuck y'all this year. It's our time."
Nah, it
Yep.
was Nintendo.
We finally got
said
that
fuck.
stupid.
yeah, it wasn't
Evo.
Nintendo.
Yeah, because
Nah,
Evo does
nah.
want Smash.
Yeah, but Evo's owned by Sony, so Nintendo were cringe.
Yeah, I know. Very unfortunate.
No, fuck that. My head canon is we got that stupid platform fighter out of here, and now we got the real big boys here. I'm joking.
I think for me,
But no.
the reason why I want to go to Smash Con too is because like they have other Smash games, so it's like since I never went to a Smash 4 tournament, that would be my chance to like play Smash 4 in a tournament, and I think that would be very fun.
Well, and I also think, Smash Con also just has a bunch of other fun stuff. Like I would absolutely, if I ever went to Smash Con, make sure to go watch like the combo the Smash 64 combo contest. Because I actually watch that like every year it happens on like YouTube because it's so fun to watch. Just some of the crazy shit that happens in that game.
Yeah, those be fucking great. Like, oh my goodness, the psychotic shit they be doing for a combo.
Yeah, I think Smash
cool
Con's
as
like
hell.
super interesting and like fun. And then yeah, like the tournaments for all the games as well as like, I'm sure Smash Con has like PM and P plus and shit. So
Yeah, even if they're not streaming it,
yeah,
Wait, PM and P plus, what are those?
it's the popular mods for Smash games that people like.
Wait, Project M?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. It's a lot of people just call it P plus now, but it's that.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, I don't know why for like a while it took me to understand what the fuck Project M was. I thought it was just like,
Project M is
I don't know,
really
like some-
fun. I actually like playing it a lot, but I haven't played it in forever. But it's fun.
Yeah, I think it's definitely like, if I didn't play Ultimate, I would just play Project Plus. And I'm still interested in playing Project Plus. It's just, I don't have a great computer, so maybe
Alright.
when I get a better computer.
I got a new. I got another question for y'all. Fighting game related, which I think is something that we can all like kind of have something to say about because Smash has had conversations about it, and obviously more classic fighters have had conversations about it, which is actually rollback. Because obviously with Smash, Melee got it, and it kind of gave some spice into the online scene through COVID, and then obviously with fighting games, it's like some games have it, some don't. Do you guys think? I guess the question is, do you think it's like almost inexcusable for any type of fighting game now, right? Like that would come out from like 2022 essentially and onwards to just not have rollback at launch?
Ooh, now, yeah, I think so. Nobody will buy it.
Like if the next Smash game, Tiller, comes out and it doesn't have rollback, like is that
Why'd
like
you say Tiller?
oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm fucking a little drunk right now. So
This man.
yeah, calm down. None. If the next Smash game comes out and doesn't have rollback, are you like fucking like not happy with Nintendo for being cringers yet again?
I'm not happy, but I also I don't have expectations for them to do it. So it's like it's one of those things where like I'm disappointed, but I'm not really gonna say that much because
Like you're not surprised.
I'm not surprised. I hope they do it. And I know people have been like kind of talking about how like they seem to be like overhauling their internet server stuff, kind of. I don't know how to what extent, but they're kind of doing something. But I don't know if they'd get to the point where they're just having rollback in Smash. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know how far they'll go. So. Mm-hmm. It's just not really something that I'm gonna even think about, so that I don't get my hopes up or anything.
Do you okay? Well, even though you just said you don't think about it, do you think that if they whenever they announced the next Smash game, right? They announced that it would have rollback. Would that be for you like a good sign going in, or would you still be like super apprehensive about everything else?
I mean, it'd be a good sign, but I also think, it doesn't necessarily mean everything about it would be good. Because, like, they can have rollback, and that'll be really great for, like, if I'm asking somebody for a set, I can just play that. But I still fully expect their, like, other aspects of their online service to be really bad. Because, like, I think Elite Smash is really terrible. And, like, I don't think, like... the thing I hate about it is something I think they won't fix, where it's just kind of like the fact that I can get matched up with players who don't have my rule set, and just like, I don't think the GSP system actually is like a meaningful ranking system, and I just don't think they'll fix everything about it. I think there'll be something that's like really bad that I don't like, that makes me not want to play that mode. But I mean, it's a good sign. I mean, they did something good if they do that. If they do rollback, so I don't know.
I think with rollback nowadays, since it's like such a like with Guilty Gear finally putting it into the limelight, I think every single fighting game nowadays, they should come with it, but I think they have to now, because like with how fantastic Guilty Gear's netcode is with rollback, and how bad it's been in the past. It's like, all right,
yeah,
we're not gonna fucking buy this game if it doesn't.
And it's almost like now like, because King of Fighters has rollback, Persona 4 doesn't have it, which is fucking cringe, by the way, that it didn't launch with it. But at least it's coming, and like you can make the argument that it's a port, and they probably didn't work on it for that long to port it to get it out. Still cringe, but at least like we know it's getting it. But then like you look at like Street Fighter 6 is coming out, and I feel like it's in development now. So if they, seeing the like the landscape now, don't put it in by the time Street Fighter 6 comes out on launch, like there's something wrong there, right? I would think the same thing with whatever the next NetherRealms fighter is, or whatever the next, like the next Tekken. Like, if it doesn't have rollback on launch, it's like you have no excuse. It's in development now. You see what everyone else is doing.
I think rollback's to the point where if you weren't planning on putting it in, but you were developing a game, it's worth delaying the game over. Like I think it's that much of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, also it has to be good too, because like Melty Blood, the new one for example, has rollback. It's not good rollback, but it's rollback. It's just dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
Smash
That's why
might do
no
that
one's playing
too.
Melty right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, online just like is the future of I mean, I'm not even gonna say it is the future because it's not. It's the present and has been the present of games in all forms for 15 years now, probably. At least the last decade. So I don't think it's anything to say that like, yeah, having a good online mode should be a part of your fighting game. People don't meet up in person as much. You need to give them the tools to play their games, with their friends online in rooms, mimicking the, what you would have if everyone gathered at someone's house to play, right? Where you're, watching it play and then it's your turn and you get to play and everyone's there and having a good time. And then also have, a good online mode with like a ranked mode and like a casual mode and like a dedicated a real like rule set and things like that where people can actually play the game online and get that same experience online, because that just is what video games are now.
Yeah, I think especially with how fighting games are now, where extra modes and like a story mode and all these things are so de-emphasized as what people are buying the game for and as what they're like putting in the game. It just makes sense to make your online like really good. Like you could fucking say fuck your story mode to have more time for your online, and that'd be like completely fine. I think it's like, there's not even that much else that they have to like whatchamacallit, like aside from the game itself. I think the online is just like the number one, like close to being a top priority, like close to being number one. Priority.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they definitely have to do it now because with the the event, I don't know if we can say it, but that killed a lot of games.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite games, Sam Show, basically died when you couldn't go to tournaments because the online was already dog shit. And put on top that the game was already niche, and then you couldn't go to locals to play or have most people over to play it. Sam Show died right in the water. Even with them releasing DLC over the event, no one fucking cared, even though it's a really fucking good game.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, that sucks, right? And I'm sure it's not the only game. I mean, Grand Blue's at EVO, so I feel like that game has another shot, but I'm sure you could say Grand Blue was hurt a lot, right?
Yeah, because I like Granblue, but I'm really surprised that it's a netcode. Like it must have been decent enough for people to still play it enough for it to end up at EVO. Because it still does have a thriving tournament base with like NLBC doing tournaments like weekly for it, and like other games, even Melty a little bit, but like those don't have that many entries as like Granblue, KOF, Guilty Gear, and occasionally Fighterz. But like, yeah, I'm surprised. I'm genuinely shocked it was there. Or it's going to be here this year.
Mm-hmm. And none, I guess. The last question I'll ask about fighting games before I think we move on to the weekly roundup. Do you care at all, by the way, that Smash isn't at EVO?
Yeah, I care. Because it's one of those things where I've been watching less tournaments, but I was definitely going to watch EVO. Like, I was going to try my best to watch it from the beginning and to the end. Whereas, like, with a lot of tournaments, I just miss, like, most of it. And just, like, I don't even know when tournaments are happening because I'm not following a lot of, like, people who would say, like, oh, fucking Glitch Infinite is happening now. So, like, I just miss things, and I just happen to, like, sometimes I'll, like, go on Twitch, and I'll see, like, oh, this tournament's happening. It's like, oh, shit, this has, like, a lot of the top players. I should watch some of this. But EVO, I was going to try my best to, like, watch it, and I think it was, like, it's a big deal. So, yeah, I do care about it, and I was interested in seeing who would win and, like, what would happen and all these things, because it definitely is the tournament that has the most stakes behind it, even if like some people might pretend that it's not, it is. Everyone cares and remembers who each Smash EVO champion was. Whereas like eventually with certain tournaments that just kind of fades away.
Right, it only gets brought up in like certain instances, right, where it's like you talk about like, oh
Yeah, I mean, like,
shine someone won, or you know.
Yeah, like if another like Smash Con happens, you'll of course talk about here's each previous Smash Con champion.
Yeah.
But it's not like a regular point in discussion.
Or what I was gonna say is like when like in like I guess a Melee example is like when Axe won. I don't remember what tournament he won, but he won like his big tournament, right? It's like people talk about that.
The summit. Wasn't it one of the summits?
He did win a summit. I thought he won another one, but I know he did win a summit. But it was like when he won summit. Maybe that was what it was. It was just, but it's like people talk about that summit, right? Because it was like Axe won it. You know what I mean? That's like a big deal for like that character to win.
Yeah, I do think Summit's one of the Smash tournaments that people will like, bring up more often than most.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because a lot of people remember Summit champions more than others. I feel, and besides Evo too, but.
When I feel like Summit is always it's always such a big deal, just like Evo is. Like I mean, when Mango won, it's like was a big deal and stuff like that. But
it is also like sad too because I know for like the last couple Evos, there's this weird thing that Smash was getting the opportunity for, where like Disney had it on their channel, kind of. Like, I definitely know there was at least one where, like, it was just straight up on Disney. I don't know if it's happened since that one time, but...
And wasn't it the most recent Evo? Wasn't Smash the most recent real Evo, so 2019. Wasn't Smash the final game instead of Street Fighter for the first time in, like, ever? Not ever, but, like, the first time in a long time, remember. Street Fighter didn't close out Evo, it was Smash. Do you know, Natty?
It might have been.
Maybe?
I
remember watching that Evo, but I didn't watch Street Fighter or Smash.
Okay.
I remember watching SoCal a lot, though.
All I know is either way, Smash still had, like, more room to grow there and more opportunities to have there. But now that's just over. And I don't think Disney's gonna fucking, like, seek out, let's start streaming the summits and stuff. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
It is what it is, though.
All right, so let's go to the weekly roundup, I guess, because we've been going for a little bit.
And none thought he wouldn't have a lot to input. Can't believe it. Look at him.
Who are you?
Yeah, so None, what have you been... Actually, let's let the guests go first. Natty, what have you finished, played, whatever, in the last week?
All right, so I think if anyone followed me on Twitter, they know I've been away for a bit, but in my little, vacation, I guess you'll call it. I don't know. I've been playing through the No More Heroes series, and literally yesterday I finished No More Heroes 3. But I guess I'm gonna talk about the whole series as a whole. It's a. I mean, should I describe what it is, or does most people know? I'm asking y'all.
What?
Wait, what did you say?
Should I describe it?
I think most people know No More Heroes is. Vinny's also mentioned it on like.
Yeah, I talked about No More Heroes already because I played it. So.
Okay, now I just talk about 3 mostly. All right, though, 3 came out in 2020, I think, or 2021 maybe. I'm not sure when it came out.
Last year. It was in August.
Okay, my last year.
It was
okay.
It was a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. So I already have no nostalgia for this series. I think I had it on a modded Wii. I had 1 and 2, or maybe just 1, but I never played it because I know what the fuck it was. But now I know, and I never had played them before. So I played 1, 2, and I tried Travis Strikes Again. Got like 4 hours in. Decided it wasn't for me. Ended up reading the story. Just read the story bits online. What I needed to know because I was. Yeah, you can. I don't give a shit. You can clown me.
I'm gonna
$40 I got back.
Natty, I'm just gonna be dead ass with you, right?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Look, I have talked too much shit on people doing that on this podcast, and on this channel, to then have my friend sit here and say that he did that, and me to not at least tell him to his face that that's cringe. I don't want to get into an argument with it. You did it. I don't hate you, but I do have to keep some dignity. Say that that's cringe.
When I heard that, I told Natty to just give up on Kingdom Hearts. If 1 game was enough for that to happen.
at least I fucking gave it some time, but I wasn't fucking with it. I wasn't having fun. I literally played it for like 4 hours straight, came back the next day, and I'm like, I don't want to touch this game again because I'm not going to have fun. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to read it, know what I need to know, and then move on to No More Heroes 3 because I'm not spending $40. If it's on sale for like $20, maybe I'll pick it back up, play through it. It isn't like out of the range. But that's what I did. Suck it up. Fuck you. Anyway. But so No More Heroes 3 is basically like a pseudo sequel to Travis Strikes Again, kinda just more like a lot of like upgrade little things or like the new mechanics with like sushi, not because you don't pick up health kits anymore. You buy sushi for healing and like buffing your battery or refilling your battery and stuff. And then like upgrading, you don't do like go to the gym and work out no more. You just go into an arcade machine and like fill out your skill tree shit. But besides that, it's just a random No More Heroes game that just takes place like 10 or 12 years later, I forget. And instead of just fighting assassins, you're fighting alien assassins. And I think I'm kind of guessing here because usually in No More Heroes games, you would fight waves of enemies, and that would be the mission. You will fight waves of enemies, and you'll go to the boss. So what they did for this, and you build the money, you fight waves, and then you go to the boss. So what this game did is that after when you get started, you go do these little like missions, which is just fighting the enemies, and you go to like different points across the map because they brought back the open world, but instead of it just being Santa Destroy, it's like 5 different worlds. And you just go there, you do jobs in different worlds, can have different jobs at the different worlds, and you just do your missions there for wherever the boss is at. And you do those. And here's where like the kind of difference is where I mentioned like it's just waves of enemies. There's only usually like 4 to 3 enemies in one of these missions. And they're ridiculously hard before you start getting upgrades. Cause I think my guess here is that the Switch couldn't handle a lot of these enemies being in one place because it already has trouble loading the open world. That's like it takes forever to load. But I think having all those enemies on the screen was too much, so they just made the enemies like hard. Like they have stupid gimmicks. They fucking run your shit, push you into the corner. You can't do shit about it. But, over the course when you start leveling up your attack, it becomes a little bit more easier for, like, the smaller ones, but not, like, ones that, like, got shields or, like, throw a shit ton of orbs across the screen that blow up if you get near them. But then that same difficulty doesn't go towards the bosses. Because I think this is the easiest No More Heroes game I've ran through. Which doesn't make sense to me because these bosses are, like, they have AoE attacks. They're, like, in these fucking... there's one mission where you're like, it's negative and positive magnets on the ground, which I don't know why they did that because it didn't matter because all I did was just slap them like a bunch of times and I won. So I don't know what was the point of that. But besides that, like the enemies are like the biggest hurdle, and the bosses aren't that hard, which I kind of find that weird. But hey, it is what it is because like there are a few memorable bosses. They're bringing back cameos from other bosses. In every No More Heroes game, there's a Destroy Man cameo boss, and he came in this one too. But I think the biggest, most welcome change, besides like healing with sushi, because you can just heal on the spot instead of having to run around and grab a health kit. Fuck, I just forgot what I was about to say. The biggest change is the amount of money that you have to do or have to earn to fight a boss, because in No More Heroes 1, towards the end, it kind of got ridiculous how much money you had to earn. Like, you would get like maybe 100K from like doing a mission, fighting the boss, and you had to earn like 500,000. So you'll be doing a bunch of missions. You had to I just ended up like kind of cheesing it, like doing certain missions that I knew earned me the most before because before I would just do whatever mission was near me, but then I had to all right, which one's gonna earn me the most? How many can I do in like this amount of time? Earn a little bit extra on the side so that I can still have don't have to earn that much before I finish this boss. But now you don't have to do that because after you finish a boss, they give you you finish the boss and you go do those little fighting the enemy missions. They give you damn near all the money right there, is you only have to do like 3 missions or maybe even 2 to earn the amount of money to go fight the boss. You don't have to worry about earning extra unless you want to buy sushi, because you don't have to buy healing items and stuff. You could just be that nigga and be that good. So I really welcome that change. It makes the game a lot more smooth to play through. And even though the open world is kind of shoddy, because like there's like a few areas that's just like, you know, gray wasteland, there ain't shit to do. You gotta run across all the way over here and nothing happening to go like find a job or some shit. So like it's a little bit of issue. I don't find it that annoying, because I'm not just like running around trying to find whatever job. I don't have to earn that much. There's no agency, which I mean, I guess like that could be a negative. To me, it's not. But yeah, I think No More Heroes 3 might be my second favorite in the series, because it definitely has the best combat. That's for sure. Because in Travis Strikes Again, you earn like this little wristband that you use while you're playing the game, and it gives you upgrades that you can like slow down time in a certain area. You can like drop kick someone from halfway across the room. You know, you got like projectiles. There's like a little orb that like works as a turret. And they bring a lot of they bring 4 of those aspects from Travis Strikes Again into 3, and it really helps the combat feel way more smooth, similar to how it was in No More Heroes 3. You just have upgrades now, and it makes a lot of the missions before you fight the boss a lot more easy, a lot more interesting, because some of the bosses you can just like slow down time, throw your turn up, back up, and go handle something behind you, and it just makes the combat it makes it flow better. Mm-hmm. Also, the sumo moves or the wrestling moves you do, they refill your battery, which thank fucking God.
They're by the way, they're wrestling moves. They're no. I was just saying they're pro wrestling moves.
Oh,
which is part of why I think No More Heroes aesthetically appeals to me so much, is Travis being this mix of an otaku and a wrestling fan. Like, he trained as a wrestler, and so he's doing these pro wrestling moves, and he's got like a lightsaber. Like, just the fact that it's pro wrestling moves is a large part of it, like, and that Travis uses them and all that is part of like Travis's character, why I like the series so much. But it is just pro wrestling moves and not sumo.
Okay. I'm not fucking with you. But,
I'm not trying to be like a dick, and like I'm not trying to appear upset. If I sound like I'm like pissed about it, I'm not trying to be. I was trying to,
No, I'm just fucking
clarify.
With you. Nah, I'm glad they actually made the sumo moves, because like they would do damage in the other games, but they were like, you didn't really have to do them. But in this game, it really feels like, oh shit, my battery about to run out. This guy's dizzy. Let me, flip him, do a wrestling move, and it refills my battery like instantly, and I can just go back into combat.
I would do it
so it makes everything flow better.
I would do it a lot against the big guys, because it would take them out. So like that was
and 2?
That was my move against big guys. It was just fucking.
Yeah, I'm glad. I think I did a lot more in 2 than I did in 1. Even though 1 is probably my favorite out of the
1 is absolutely my favorite.
The games. Yeah. 1 is like the best one out of all of them.
Yeah.
2,
great game.
Like 2 is good. It has issues, but like not major issues. I feel like 1 not being, it's goofy, but it's still down to earth. If you're gonna it's like I like that about 1 a lot, and I wish the other games didn't go in this like ridiculously goofy, like out of this world. But like I still fuck with it kinda. Cause 3, I hope any story beats or anything you experienced in the last games, I hope you just act like they didn't exist, because nothing in 3 makes sense.
Okay.
Like literally nothing.
I see what Vinny's about to say.
All right, go ahead. Because nothing makes sense in 3.
The obvious thing that I think none is going to say is, it would probably make more sense if you didn't skip a game.
I wasn't going to say it. You were going to say it. I just knew what you were going to say.
I mean, the only thing
I
didn't
think,
make
can I be honest,
sense to me
I
in
didn't
3,
think about that until you said something, and I was like, oh yeah, this is what I have to say. But yeah, I mean, it probably would make a little bit worse if you didn't skip a game.
No, like deadass. Like the only thing in 3 that ever came up that I was a little confused about was just this character Kamui that just pops up randomly, and then I look him up. Yeah, he made a cameo in Travis Strikes Again, but he's from a whole different fucking game.
Oh, that would actually make the most sense. Is if there was stuff. No. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. If it was instead the reason it didn't make sense was because it was more tied in to kill the past as opposed to just No More Heroes, then that makes a lot of sense why it would be confusing, and why it's like I can't even fault you for that, because it's like I'm not playing all of Kill the Past first, because like I wanted to play No More Heroes, and
Yeah,
the thing
like
is, the conceit I'll make is that whenever I do get around to Kill the Past, I'll play No More Heroes again. You know, the games aren't that long. I don't mind.
They're really not. They're really
I
short.
like one a whole lot. I have no problem playing that game again. 2 I can deal with. It's still fun.
Like, do you not like 2?
No, I think 2 is.
I think it's like,
I think 2 is fine. I think some of the bosses in 2 go super hard. I think at some points 2 is really good. I don't think like the final boss of 2 is as bad as people say, but I don't think it.
No, it's annoying, but it isn't bad.
I don't think the game is that great. So.
Oh, now that you bring up the final boss, yeah, the final boss in 3 fucking blows. Not because it's hard, it's just very bad. It's uninspired as fuck.
Is it what people talk about the final boss of 2 being, where it's just like dog shit?
Nah,
I almost
bad.
wonder if people hate the final bosses of 2 and maybe 3 just because Henry in 1 is so fucking good and is like one of the like, let's just be dead ass, one of the best final bosses of all time.
He is the best boss in the series to me.
Yeah, it's so
I have
good.
to be straight up. He is probably my favorite boss in the entire series. Like, there are some bosses in 3 I like almost as good as Henry, and some are like really just odd. There's a mission where there's a boss where you did just play musical chairs. I don't know what was going on, but that's what you do. But yeah, No More Heroes 3 is really good. There's a lot of cameos from other games. Do y'all know Damien X Machina, that mecha game?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, that something with that is like a major thing in the game. It's really funny. I like it a lot. But yeah, I'm really glad I played through this series. Even though, yeah, I skipped Travis Strikes Again. Fuck you. But yeah, I'm glad I beat 3 out of the 4.
I see.
I will probably go back to Travis Strikes Again if it gets on sale.
Sad.
What do you mean sad? I just said I'll probably try it again if it goes on sale.
Sad.
Okay, then give me $40 right now.
Sad.
Yeah, broke ass nigga, shut up. All right, who's going
None
next?
goes next.
Sad. Anyway, I watched Squid Game.
Oh, what'd you think of it?
I started the day before. Actually, no. I started yesterday, and I finished today.
I see.
I really liked it. I thought it did a lot of the... Like, I really liked how it did a lot of the kind of things you would expect from a death game, kind of, sort of. Like I kind of... Like, by the... Well, actually, have you... Before I spoil things too much, have you watched Squid Game, Natty? I know Vindy has.
Most of it, not all of it. You can go ahead, though. I don't care.
No, I can't spoil like the final thing in the final episode.
Yeah, I agree.
That's like nobody saw that coming.
I mean, if it's what I'm thinking, then I probably do know it.
But I really liked
I don't care
who was like behind the game.
Yeah. The big reveal. Yeah.
And like it wasn't even something that crossed my mind, but it's something that like Danganronpa also does, and like I just feel like kind of this like low key kind of like a death game type of thing, but it's like I just never thought about it, and I think it's so perfect with like who it is and like
what the story
kind
is going
of,
for, and
yeah, like I do really like how like a lot of the things at the end is like, you know, do you still trust people, and like kind of like, you know, almost trying to make the Korean names are really hard for me. Ji Hun, I think that's his name. Mm-hmm. Making him kind of reconsider whether or not he regrets doing some of the things he did in the game. And I do think it's super cool how he kind of ends up sticking to his path, and like in the end, especially with like what he ends up. Well, I guess that's a spoiler that he lives, but that's not really that big a spoiler. Especially with how he like ends up what he ends up doing with his money. And I really ended up liking all of the games because, you know, I thought they were really tense to watch because especially when like I think the simplicity of each game just kind of adds to the tension, just because it's like it is just so easy to like either mess up a little bit and kind of just get like fucked because of it, or just like, you know, it kind of forces them to like bet more on what they're doing in each game, because there's kind of no turning back, and kind of like, you know, because they are children's games. I really liked like I was really expecting you know, the like Indian guy, right? I was like kind of expecting him to this is kind of a spoiler, him to like actually be two-faced, and like he wasn't, which is like it did really throw off my like expectations, and it was like it kind of hurt to like keep like, you know, it hurt to see what actually ended up happening, just because the entire time I wasn't like trusting of him, and like, you know, I didn't necessarily think his act was gonna be fake, but I did think eventually he would like, out of desperation to live, kind of mess up somebody, but he just didn't. I also just, and I, you know, I thought it was really, I really liked it. I really want to see season 2, because I do have a lot of questions like about like how exactly a season 2 is gonna work, because it would be kind of weird if like Ji Hun ends up like just playing another, like doing another Squid Game thing, especially with how like how against it he is, and it's like, but it's also one of those things where it's like, because of how the show is, I would expect him to end up having to play for some reason, and I mean, I do think he obviously is probably gonna try to stop the Squid Game. I just wonder how like the next season will be like structured, I guess. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I don't know if like I have that much to say about it compared to like what other people might have already said about it, but I really liked it, and I think it kind of does like all the traditional death game kind of things really well, and especially when it like, even though like a lot of it does feel familiar, it's still like I didn't expect this to happen, or you know, with who lives and who dies, it did, I guess, throw me off. Yeah, I really liked it. It was really good.
I think it's really good. It's hard. I don't want to talk too much personally about it, because Crafts and I did a whole backlog on it that I do think you should listen to. But I am glad to hear you say
maybe
you
I
liked
will.
the ending, because that was one of the things we talked about, was at the time. Big conversation around the game was, or around the show, was that people didn't like the ending. So
when I was watching it, I could see, like, not that I agree, but I could see it, especially with like initially as the ending started, I was feeling kind of weird about it. I was like, what? But it's like, I do think it's good and makes sense, but like my initial reaction was like not being fully into it before, seeing how it fully concluded. I also, when you brought up you and Crafts talking about it, it's kind of funny now that I think about it, how hearing a spoiler from what you guys were initially talking about actually threw me off from knowing a real spoiler. Because when you guys were like recording that, I joined the call and just heard a spoiler. I don't want to say that spoiler, because then if I say that spoiler is actually untrue, then that's the major spoiler to know. But I think, do you remember what spoiler that I ended up hearing?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll just type it. Not in this chat, since it all is a spoil natty.
Let me see. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that, like...
That's what I assumed it was from the way you were talking, but...
Yeah,
Well,
so just hearing that, it completely, like, I just had the expectation in my head, and then it ended up not being true. Since I mean, I'm sure you guys were talking about like the specific episode that happens in before
Right.
you find out more.
or just talk about the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, the moment I meant. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I liked Squid Game. And I'm not even just gonna say this to you. I'm saying this to all the listeners. Go watch the Squid Game episode. Crafts and I had I think a good conversation about it. But is that all you have to say about Squid Game?
Yeah. I
All right.
liked it. I'm probably. It almost made me kind of a little interested in watching or reading some other Death Game stuff, maybe.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about a game I played a week ago where I heard someone explain the premise of the game, and then I already owned it on Steam, and I played it when I got home from work one day. And the game is called Before Your Eyes. And so the premise of the game is it like hooks up to your webcam, and time moves forward when you blink. And blinking is the only real
I've heard of that.
I know what you're talking about.
in the game. And I played it, and it was really fucking good. And I'm not going to say anything spoilery about the game at all, because I don't want to give away what happens in the game and how the game unfolds and what it is. But what I will say is there were some mechanical moments that blew me away with what it wanted you to do. Just because I wasn't ready for it, and then it did get me emotionally. I was crying by the end. Really fucking good game, really powerful experience, and I think it's super sick, and I definitely recommend it to both of y'all. And anyone listening, it took me, I mean, I can look really quickly how long it took me to beat. It's not long, by the way. It took me just under 2 hours, 4 minutes less than 2 hours, so 116 minutes to beat the game. And I would say the experience was absolutely worth it. If you have a computer, you can even just do a thing where you can connect your phone through Wi-Fi to your computer and use that as a webcam. You should play this game. It's good, and I think it's an experience that's worth having.
Wait, you don't need a VR for it?
No, it connects to your webcam.
Oh, okay. Buying it right now.
How much is it?
I don't know.
10.
I'd imagine
10 bones.
Yeah, like 10, right? Yeah, $10. Soundtrack is very good as well for the game. So yeah, I mean, just Before Your Eyes. I wish I could say more about it. I legitimately can't, because I don't want anyone to have any inkling of what they're in for. I think that I legitimately actually think that just saying it's a game where that's all that, because I had it in my library and I didn't know what it was about. And all I really heard was it's a game about time moving forward when you blink, and immediately that was enough to hook me into wanting to play it. So that's all I'm gonna say about what the game is about, what happens in it. It's absolutely worth experiencing, though. So with that, I guess, Natty, I'm going to skip you for this because you won't be on next week, but I will let you say the final things of the episode. So really quickly, what do you think you might talk about next week?
I don't know. I don't have a plan on what I might go through next. Like, I haven't finished the Nolan trilogy. I still need to watch Rising, but I kind of forgot about watching it for a while, so I don't know if I'm going to watch that soon. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna finish next.
There's okay, none.
Actually, no. I will have finished Sono Bisque, because I've been watching it, but the final episode isn't out, so yeah.
Okay.
Should be out by the next recording though.
I have no idea, and I'm not even gonna guess. So, Natty, since you are our guest, tell people where they could follow you if they want to hear or see more of you. Tell them where to go.
Alrighty. So I'm mostly on Twitter and Twitch. You can follow me both at Natty47. And also, by the way, next week I'm going to be talking about Turning Red. I'm joking, but basically Twitter and Twitch is where I'm most active on. I do have a YouTube channel at Natty, but It's linked on my Twitch if you want to go over there. I haven't uploaded anything in about a month, but I do plan on uploading things on there soon. I mostly just play fighting games, and then on my YouTube, if I end up having a conversation about a topic I'm like, kind of passionate about, I'll probably discuss it, and it'll probably be a VOD uploaded on YouTube as a video. I do plan on doing some other form of content, maybe something with No More Heroes. I'm not sure. I've been thinking about it, but yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys for listening. And see you later. Adios.